Sadowski and Austin Love. We are live on Facebook and YouTube today, Tuesday, April 27th. A lot to talk about. It's going to be a warm day. Holly's going to give you your forecast in just a minute. We also are talking about Kevin Love. Did you see what he did yesterday in last night's game? If you didn't, check it out right now in the comment section. We have it posted there, also in the post, and let us know your thoughts. Dave is going to break it down, and then we're talking about new mask mandates, or not mandates, but maybe change in mask policy from the CDC as well as Cedar Point. But first, today, Summer Sizzle. Holly, thanks for bringing it today.
Well, I wish it was all up to me, but I'll tell you what, it really is going to be lovely. Highs in the low 80s. Record high is 86, so we'll really be kind of in that vicinity, and partly to mostly sunny skies. This morning, if you're watching us live right now, is so mild. We're starting in the 40s and 50s, and if you just compare that to 24 hours ago, we were in the 20s and 30s. So big change, and it will be really lovely through the whole day. So even if you're going to work and you're watching us before you leave, or you're tuning in later today, you'll have this evening and plenty of time to enjoy. And then we'll be tracking rain for later tomorrow, but still warm.
Rain, you said later tomorrow. So tomorrow morning right now looking pretty good.
Chances are later in the day, towards evening.
Okay. So the morning commute looking pretty good tomorrow so far, but as Holly always says, things can change. Thank you for that, Holly. She is going off to WTAM for the forecast, and Maureen had a really nice tweet this morning, really asking all of you, saying, what are you going to do today? 81 degrees. We're not going to break the record. That was 86, but close to 81 being forecasted. So you can also put that in the comments section as well. And speaking of getting outdoors, we know Cedar Point is going to be opening pretty soon, and big news that they've changed their mask requirement.
Yes, this is big news. So they're opening May 14th. They already started taking reservations for pass holders. I think you can also start making reservations if you aren't, and buying like tickets soon, if not already. Ryan Hayden is probably our producer, our digital producer, would probably know that better than I do. But the big thing, last year, if you did go, and we did as a family, and we purposely picked a day that was like 75 degrees, because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine walking around with kids, 90 something degree heat on the pavement, and you're wearing masks. That's going to be stifling. Cedar Point says no masks while you are outside, as long as you can socially distance. So I think that is the big thing. So like, as you're walking around the park, as long as you're not shoulder to shoulder, as long as there is not a crowd, and I'm assuming with reservations, they're going to limit the number of people. They're going to have crowd control. They said you can walk around the park without your mask on. You can ride the rides without your masks on. The only time you'd have to wear a mask is if you're going in and out of their indoor locations. So we're talking about, there's a lot of restaurants, there's, a lot of games that you can go indoors and do. So that's when you'd be required to wear your masks, unless you are actively eating and drinking. But that is, that's a big question a lot of people have had with, now we're saying, half of the US population has at least gotten one dose of a vaccine. We're waiting on to see what the other half does to reach herd immunity. But later today, the CDC and President Biden are going to be talking about what those mask requirements are for outdoors as a whole, not just at Cedar Point, but as a whole. So we're also going to be paying attention to what they say today. Romney Smith did, she put together a story about Cedar Point talking about this. And if you take a look
which
at
is in the comment section already.
You can watch it in the comment section, because there are, Cedar Point went through some of the changes that they are going through. But the mask thing, there's not going to be temperature checks for Cedar Point, but when you compare them to other amusement parks around the country, other amusement parks are still requiring a temperature check. They're still requiring masks to be worn throughout the park, even though it's outdoors. So the big question, will that change later today when the CDC makes recommendations? They could come out and say, yes, you still have to wear those masks outside, because we still haven't hit the levels of immunizations that we've been waiting for. They could say, in this situation, you can wear your mask. In this situation, you can put it in your pocket. We don't know at this point. I mean, everything we were talking about this morning, they're still working out those details. So that's going to be a big a big game changer when it comes to what we do throughout the summer and in the outdoors. But, Cedar Point, they say they've figured it out. They know what they need to do for safety requirements. I believe that they are going to have a health questionnaire, but not that temperature check as you walk through the door, which led to long lines if you did try and go last year. So it's moving forward in safe baby steps.
And one of the things the general manager said, she did say, hey, this is what we've come out with now, but it's all up to change. So, everything is an adjustment. Yeah.
If we see numbers spike,
right.
They could say, never mind, you are going to have to get a temperature check, keep those masks on. If we see numbers continue downward, they could ease up restrictions even more. I mean, I think we've all been through it over the last year and a half that we're used to people changing the requirements based on how many infections there are.
So Amanda Marie, she says, no, we do not wear masks when we are outside. So referring to that. And then Valerie, she's on the other end saying, about the Cedar Point is there should still be masks. So yeah, we have that. And you can chime in and let us know. Again, we are following the CDC recommendations when they come out, if they're going to be changes, are they going to say, hey, we don't need to wear masks? Or it could be, there may be a certain recommendation for those who are vaccinated as opposed to those who aren't. So we will definitely keep track of this. And of course, you can always let us know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section. So Dave, I see we got to pull you back in for a second here because boy, now this is coming out overnight with Kevin Love, and I cannot wait to read the reaction. Now, unfortunately, we cannot show the video bad WKYC because we don't want to get in trouble. We cannot show sports video online. So they're like, well, Danielle, show us the video. But we do have it in the comment section on WKYC.com. So you can go ahead and look at it, but don't go too far away, but just see what happens. Dave, explain what our boy Kevin Love did last night. I mean, I was always on the ladies love train, but I
still am. I don't care that he slapped a ball in. I'm still on that. I'm still on that train.
Wait. Well, okay, Dave, break it down.
That's two different conversations here. All right. I mean, there's the basketball love and then there's loving love, I guess. But I'm trying to the reason I pulled the phone away here is I just pulled the air check up. I'm trying to watch what happened on the play before so I could kind of analyze why he did what he did. But basically what happened is late third quarter, about 35 seconds left. The Cavs were down 74-70 and the Raptors scored a basket to go up by 6. And then after they scored the basket, Kevin Love, instead of inbounding the ball, what you do in real life is you inbound the ball right to your teammate to then go down the court. Instead of inbounding the ball, he just slapped the ball and it went right to a Raptors player and they get an easy 3-pointer on it. So I'm actually watching it now. He slaps it to one Raptors player. He passes it to another guy wide open, hits the 3. And from there they pull away. So I watched the play before and it looks like Love gets beat on a basket. And I don't know if maybe someone didn't switch properly on defense or he was just mad he got beat. But the bottom line is he's frustrated from the play before. But still, I don't care how frustrated you are. You never see that happen. I mean, you just bat the ball in, a free play for the other team. So, he didn't talk to the media after the game. That's the other thing I want to mention. He did not talk to the media. No surprise there after that happened. But he did apologize to his teammates. But it's a big pivotal play in the game. And, he's probably frustrated too because the Cavs were missing like 8 players due to injury and different reasoning. And I think he's just frustrated in general. He signs this big contract. He's in the second year of a 4-year deal. This guy makes $30 million a year, a 4-year deal worth $120 million. That's incredible if you really think about it. I mean, you think about all these great athletes and like, especially Major League Baseball players. So like a Shane Bieber makes what, like 500, I don't even know. I'd have to look it up, but you think now, I know Kevin Love's a champion, helped the Cavs win a title, but
that was 2016.
What have you done for us lately, Kevin Love?
There you go. What have you done? And that was the other Love interjecting. What do you think about it, Austin?
I just think my brother Kevin was a little, frustrated, obviously. The Cavs, not only did they have a rough game, but they've just had a rough few seasons. So And Kev just took it out on the ball, man. You got to take it out, getting it into the hoop. So you got to be smarter than the ball. So I'm not an NBA player. I don't claim to be, but I know that that's not a great play. They probably shouldn't be doing it. So
here's some reaction we're getting. Flex says Kevin Love should do us a solid and retire. These on-court tantrums from you, the team's highest paid player, are absurd. Your lack of leadership and maturity and the fact that you are often injured is holding the Cavs back. Wow.
It's a bad contract. I mean, they can't trade him. I mean, no one wants that deal. And
everyone knew that when he signed too. Everyone was like, what are they doing?
I know. Yeah.
It's kind of like a respect deal, I feel like.
Well, Kathleen has one. This is going back. I'm not sure if I agree with you, Kathleen, on this one, but she said we should have never traded Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love. Horrible, terrible.
Well,
I don't know, because we wouldn't have got that 2016 championship.
Probably not.
So
one
love you,
thing,
Kathleen,
Danielle, though, one thing I want to make clear, though, is this is totally a basketball critique on my end. And I think a lot of people, this guy has done a lot for mental illness and awareness. He's a good dude and everything. This isn't about Kevin Love, the person. And as Maureen's chimed in, Kevin Love, how he looks. This is simply a basketball.
Ladies love. Yes.
We joke, but like he's recognizable. I mean, he's like one of the biggest names on the Cavs, right? I mean, he's a draw. I mean, you got to look at it from an entertainment perspective too, because it is entertainment. That's what it is. And you gotta have those big names on the court, or else you're gonna have people who, like, I don't go over basketball stats in my spare time. I don't have spare time, but I know that Kevin Love is good looking. I know he's gonna be on the court. My husband says, "Do you want to go see a basketball game?" I'm like, "All right, I'm cheering for Kevin Love because that's who I know." I know it sounds like, believe me, I am a big sports fan. I watch sports all the time, but I'm saying, like, Kevin Love is still a big draw. He's still a big name. He's one of our celebrities, which they still need to have on the team. You can't have a whole bunch of no names, no matter how good or bad they are. You still need the Kevin Love to draw in the crowds.
Alex Richardson, we see you. Good morning to you. And yes, you're right. But I like the thing about the leadership. They're paying him this money. Yeah. He has to lead, and this wasn't a good leadership move for him. So I'm sure he will have to answer the questions from the sports media during the next press conference. So we will see what he has to say. I know he already apologized.
What's funny about that, real quick, sportscaster in me from my old job here's what Maureen says, and I'm like, huh? But then Morning anchor Dave listens and thinks, man, she makes some good points there. I mean,
believe me, like I will sit and watch basketball. I know about basketball. I know how it works. I can watch a good basketball game and know exactly what's happening. But you got to think, like, if I'm a front office with the Cavs, you need to have somebody that people who aren't huge basketball fans can still cheer for. That's my point. Like, I don't mean to dumb anybody down, and I don't care if you're a female or a male and you think Kevin Love is cute. I don't care. But like, he's the well-known Cavs player.
All right, 30 seconds left in Austin. Yes,
we're at Boss Chicken Beer. Maureen, this is actually for you. We packaged it up. We got some vegan wings. We got some regular wings. We got the vegan ranch, the Cleveland Gold sauce, some Brussels sprouts in here. And I'm only doing this because you're on my way home. So Danny, Dave, don't expect me to bring you guys any food. No, Maureen's literally on my way home.
You could easily stop at my house. That's a bunch of baloney.
Not easily. I couldn't easily do it, but I could do it. But just it's not on my way. But
also,
anyways,
we're getting the wrap.
We're
getting the
I think
wrap.
another Love could make a bad move.
You might catch
Chicken Beer, Bay Village, 4 p.m. today.
You might catch Mark. My husband Mark might still be home.
All right,
he had a rough night. All right, see ya.
All right.
Have a